Eng after midnight taxi, Depot Bay 7 promise, on the journey slip. The taxi depot after midnight has the calm of a confession booth that charges by the mile. Sodium lamps turn spills into halos. The air smells like wet tires, old coffee, and the kind of apologies you can't make in daylight. I signed the visitor sheet with a pen that made me briefly honest and slid my phone face down into my left pocket, the pocket I use for things that are supposed to make it home. A dispatcher's radio clicked in a corner like an impatient metronome. The city idled on the other side of the roll-up doors, considering who deserved to arrive. Back home, Daniel had said, "Can we talk tomorrow?" in the voice that means, "Please stay now. Our couch is a courtroom if you let it." I left before either of us performed a testimony we'd regret over breakfast. Halfway down the stairs, my screen lit with a message from Kay. Kai in my contacts, K in the way I label hazards to make them smaller. Base 7, top of the ramp. Just talk. Roofs forgive nobody in daylight. Depots pretend they will. By day, I fix other people's paragraphs. By night, I try not to turn my own into weapons. Daniel and I have a code that works when we remember it. T means come here. You awake. Means I'm scared. Tomorrow means not yet, but don't go far. Kai drifted back into orbit 2 months ago wearing a driver's jacket like a dare and a laugh that sounded like a glass agreeing to be set down gently. He didn't ask for anything. That was how I started bringing him everything. He was leaning against the hood of a yellow sedan under Bay 7's number, collar open, sleeves pushed, eyes that could pass inspection in a power outage. He held a journey slip folded in half and a grease pencil like a lit match with manners. "You came," he said, "because grown men never tire of pretending arrival is news." "I came to return something," I said. "My jacket, your good sense." "Your name," I said. "It's been on my mouth too long for its own health." He made a face that could talk a city out of an argument and spread the slip on the hood between us, cheap paper becoming altar. "3 words," he said. "Why are you here?" "3 words is cruel," I said. "That's why they work." He handed me the pencil and watched my mouth in the reflection of the windshield as if it were a forecast. I wrote proud at breakfast. Beneath it, smaller like a fuse I wasn't sure I'd dare to light, touch before arguing. He read the graphite and didn't exhale for a heartbeat longer than he should have. He didn't touch me. His hand hovered near my lapel the way a match hovers near its training, then fell away like we were being graded. "Does he know?" Kai asked. He didn't need to weaponize the pronoun. "He knows the apartment is quiet," I said. The radio barked a unit number and someone said copy in a tone that didn't need us. Kai stepped into my weather, heat arriving before hands do when men are trying to be better than the reasons they're here. "Tell me no," he said softly. I didn't. I met him in the inch that rewrites evenings. His mouth tasted like mint and rain he was willing to keep. When his hand found the back of my neck, his grip remembered humane limits. My body answered like a courtroom that wants a witness anyway. He made the sound men make when a small country surrenders and calls it diplomacy. I made the one I've learned not to hate in the dark. We didn't rush. Bays prefer accurate departures. His mouth found the hinge of my jaw. Mine found the line behind his ear where regret loses vocabulary. His palm slipped under my shirt and paused flat on my chest. An oath, "Do you swear?" and then moved with attention rather than appetite. He guided my hand down with the steadiness of a man who respects tools. I closed my fingers and he exhaled into my mouth a truth nobody paid to hear. He reached for me and I let him, and we stayed quiet because concrete prefers prose. Tires hissed past on the wet ramp like shy applause. The city pretended not to see us. We pretended to be worthy of that favor. "We already cheated," he said later, breath back from its errand. We cheated when we started telling each other the truth before we told it at home. I know, I said. The radio said stand by and meant it. He slid the journey slip into my left pocket with ceremonial slowness, his thumb brushing my wrist once before choosing not to stay. He stepped back the moral inch that passes inspection. I booked a room, he said, not triumphant. Weather report, not prophecy. Refundable. We could stand at a window and not touch for 60 seconds just to prove we remember ceremony. We could keep the do not disturb honest. I'm tired of being clever, I said. Clever's what we do to survive fairs, he said. Accurate is what we owe the morning. We drove because that's his language. He opened the passenger door with a flourish that shouldn't have worked on me and did. The cab smelled like eucalyptus mints and disciplined coffee. He pulled away from the bay as if the city were a lake that might forgive careful swimmers. We didn't talk much. He turned the meter off and let the streetlights practice their good manners across his knuckles. At the red by the viaduct, he rested his hand on the back of my neck without pulling, a touch that made the rest of my sentence volunteer to be shorter. You'll go home, he said at last, not a dare, an inventory. I'll go home, I said. I want what I promised. That's accurate, he said, and accuracy is the kindest compliment he offers men like us. He pulled into a bus lane to let a night route bully past and laughed the way he does when he has decided to forgive traffic for being honest. He parked a block from my building because even mercy deserves plausible deniability. We kissed once more, brief and exact, something a dashboard can keep without lying to its logs. The crosswalk gave me time, I took it. The kitchen light made its square on the tile. The fridge hummed the way machines hum when they've decided to believe you. Daniel sat on the floor with his back against the door, sleeves pushed to his elbows, one ankle crossed over the other, the posture manuals use when they draw people who are about to fix things. He didn't ask where I'd been. He tilted his head toward the place beside him. I sat. Do you want to be asked? He said, voice steady, not performing mercy, offering it. Please, I said, because prompts are scaffolding when you've been building without permits. Are you lonely? Some nights, I said. Not here, not when you ask first, not when the kettle outruns the reasons. I took his wrist and placed his hand on my forearm the way he does when he needs to make sure I'm not inventing weather. His thumb traced once and believed me. I feel useful, he said. I want to be wanted before I'm useful. Tonight's procedure, I said. Touch first, argue second, report later. The kettle clicked like a stamp in a country that believes in mail. He stood and poured water over mint. We named it dinner because names are cheaper than regret. I pinned the journey slip beneath the lemon-shaped magnet so Proud at Breakfast faced the room. Daniel read it and his mouth did the smaller, braver thing. He picked up the dry erase marker and wrote beneath the magnet, "Tomorrow, keep the torque." He didn't grin. He assembled himself and the sentence into a morning. We made a rule that isn't noble. When prosecution tries to wear a bathrobe, one of us says depot and the other puts the kettle on while the first puts his hands where history can find them. We agree to 5 words when 5 are enough. We stop at the shoulder, not the ditch. We try to want what we promised, and when we don't, we write 3 words on small paper and tell the room we'll fail differently tomorrow. Days do what days do when you're trying to be an amateur human with professional consistency. The slip in my pocket learns the shape of my left hand. Paper learns its carriers. On the late bus, I draft messages to no one that begin I didn't ask, because I thought that counted as kindness, and "And may your breakfast go right." I don't send them. The not sending feels like a skill borrowed from taxis that idle without complaint when rain decides to edit the city. A week later, afternoon tries to be a test. I walk past the depot and buy nothing. I leave a bottle of water on the windowsill of the dispatcher's booth with a note, "For whoever is waiting for a sister." The dispatcher nods like a bridge that is held and will hold again. On my way home, I slip a blank fare sheet into my pocket and write "Turn" toward your name across the clean side. I don't light anything. That night we eat toast like it has been newly invented. We fail, and fail differently, and fail in ways that don't require anyone to stand under a sodium lamp pretending to know which lane will save them. The room does not demand a verdict. The morning remembers its job. And when we say tomorrow out loud, it means only what we let it mean.